Kate, if you want to run through the agenda,
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go ahead and share. Yeah, I can
So,
type it out as.
So for the agenda today, we're going to start with the Guess Who. So like we did last monthly meeting, we're going to start with a little bit of fun facts about people, but you have to guess who they're about, which is always really fun. You get to know a lot of random little things about people, which is exciting. And then we're going to have a little bit of committee time, only 20 minutes. So you can just get all your last minute things together, prep for your presentation to Lynn, and yeah, just go into that a little bit. And then we're going to have committee reports and debriefing, talking about the methods we were looking into, seeing if they were viable, the proof of concept, and then the little bit of a prototype, and the MVP, not really the MVP, but a little bit of prototype, talking about that. And then we will take another break. Take a break, just a 5-minute break, and then we'll go into a team building activity. We've actually had this activity on the agenda for about 6 weeks, but we finally get to do it, which is really exciting. We had a lot of fun thinking about that. You'll get more information about that before it starts, because we want you guys to have it fresh in your brains when it starts. And then we'll go into a discussion. And this time we put a little, not really, I guess it's kind of a rule that you can't repeat within the same group. So we'll get a lot of good discussions out of this. That'll be really fun. Then we'll take another break, 5 minutes, and then we'll go into discussing the methods and next steps. And then we'll go into plus deltas and in the meeting. It's gonna be a good meeting, productive and very fun. It sounds like it's gonna be really fun. And today, for the top of the agenda, where it says themes, what is the focus, why does it matter, what does meaningful progress look like, we're actually going to ask the cohort, like you guys, what do you, why does this meeting matter today, and what will meaningful progress look like? So if 3 people would like to share why does the meeting matter, what is the focus, why does it matter, just go for it. Unmute yourself and go for it.
Well, I think that last monthly meeting, we got a lot of clarity on where we stand for our project, and we kind of all got back on the same page. So I think this meeting is just kind of a continuation of that, and to make sure that we're going on the right track, we're going where we want to go, if that makes sense.
So why does it matter? Just feel free to. So if our focus is evaluating 3 potential methods and getting on track, why does the focus matter?
Kind of like what Ria said, we were kind of all in different places at first, but this is so to continue doing that, but also to hopefully narrow down our method a little bit and make some more progress that way, so that way we can actually start doing the nitty-gritty with our method and getting into the details of it.
Anyone else? I'm trying to multitask. Yes. Great, Ava. And what does meaningful progress look like?
Probably just deciding on a method.
Anyone else?
There's some, just it looks like other people in the chat are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ashlyn. That's perfect. Come to consensus
yes.
about which methods are viable or not. Yeah. yeah, so like we're in consensus building mode, not debate mode, not like, because we're just a team trying to figure out the best thing together.
I love these guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to like make it a little bit more interactive instead of just reading off stuff. But yeah, another thing that I wanted, and if Emily, if you could send the link, we wanted to bring back committee evaluation forms just to help keep everyone accountable. And Emily will be sending that link out. So every single time that we finish with the committee, or we can make it every single time we have a monthly meeting, not necessarily a new committee, we can fill out the committee eval forms. That way we can, okay, Sterling. That way we can keep everyone accountable and make it a little bit easier to organize and stuff. It really helps us out when deciding what to do and stuff. So yeah, if Emily, if you could send that out.
Yeah.
And to start off our meeting, we're kind of on like a time crunch, but
Oh yeah. Can I interject real quick, Rhea? Because we might, if you'd like to, we might go ahead and like, maybe we could do guess who after
later,
yeah. Maximize their committee check-in time. But I just want to say real quick that when Lynn and Alana are joining us, I feel like last Sunday we talked about was like, I think everyone maybe felt, everyone meaning not just you all, cohort 12, it felt a little off. And I think that I'm suspecting putting too much pressure to like present information to them. But what they really want, I think, and what they've said, is they just want to watch you guys at work. So if mentally, instead of treating it as like a presentation that you have to give to them, but just treat it as like, this is the time during the meeting, whether they were here or not, that we would be debriefing what you guys talked about within your committees. And they just want to watch you do that. So you don't even have to talk directly to them, talk to each other and let them observe. And Rhea and Kate, as your co-facilitators, they'll be the ones to bring them in to say, Lynn, Alana, do you guys have any questions? Was that clear? And you guys just do your updates with each other. I think that will feel more natural. And I think you guys let me know, not if you agree with this. I think that's really what we need to be doing anyway to move forward during the meeting. Okay, cool.
I am making the breakout rooms real quick, but yeah, Krish, you're the only one. I think Sterling's joining soon. But yeah, as of now, you're the only one in your room. So until he
yeah. Just leave Krish in here with us.
Okay, yeah.
We can offer you we can help you, Krish.
But yeah, I'm gonna send you guys into breakout rooms and I'll bring you back probably around 11:30. But just kind of prepare by making your mirror board, making sure everything's set on that. The questions are posted on the docs and files section to help guide your evaluation and help guide your presentation or your report. But if you need any help, feel free to like press the ask the host for help button and we'll jump over there. But see you soon, guys. Any questions? And we'll see you guys soon.
Do you guys just want me to talk about my committee in here?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I think Sterling will be joining soon, but majority of your committee is not here today. So
yeah, that's fine. They weren't here in the last SPS either, so the thoughts that I have are mainly my thoughts. I told this to Kate before the meeting started, just to let you know. So they may be like super biased. But basically what I was thinking about was when I was comparing mental health fair an app versus website. That was the first one I did a comparison of. Personally, I still feel that an app or website would be not, I don't know if it would be more feasible, but I think it would be more effective. And I think that's one of the things we also have to think about in terms of a method, how effective it'll be. Because in a mental health fair, attendance is like, it's at one specific time. And if people miss it, like they won't get the information. There's no way for them to like go back to the mental health fair and see it. Whereas an app or website, it's at their own convenience and they can access it whenever. So I just thought that would be a more effective method. I didn't really compare feasibility because I thought both would be feasible. But as for like convenience, I thought it would be easier, not for us, but for the audience or people who are trying to understand the project, to see like an app or website. Sterling, thoughts? Anyone?
Sorry, this is I'm like, on my phone. Yeah, no, I like app and website too. I feel like mental health fairs, like, I like it, but I don't know how, like, I missed the last SPS, so maybe I missed, like, some of what we're talking about, but I just feel like that would be, like, there's so, like, like, so many complications and stuff like that. And so I just feel like, I don't know, I like the digital.
I was going to ask, just to get some clarity on the mental health fair, maybe I'm misinformed. It would be like a one-time thing, right? Or would it be multiple times?
I think it would be some sort of a reoccurring thing, but I don't know how often it would be reoccurring. I think those were details that we would have worked out if we were going forward with the idea, but it was nothing that we already decided.
Yeah, I had a question about, like, oh, were you gonna go, Emily?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Like after we like graduate or whatever, like after the 3 years, like would the health fair continue? Like, and where would the funds come from? Is what I was like confused about.
I mean, that kind of thing totally depends on what you create. That is a great question, but we just don't have enough information to answer it because it would just depend on what you create, who you partner with. Sometimes you guys have the funds to you then sort of become the grantor instead of the grantee. So you give that money to whoever to help fund the continuation of the project. But it's just a totally dependent on what happens with what you create, who you find.
And I think, sorry to interrupt, I was just going to say, I think apps and websites would require less partnership than a mental health fair because an app or a website would already be pre-developed, whereas a mental health fair, it would need to be conducted regularly again and again. But we wouldn't be there. Whereas an app and website could, just be updated at the ease of our convenience as well.
That point is a great point to evaluate now and to bring up because that's answering the question of feasibility of like, what are we down the line asking someone to continue executing something from start to finish versus maybe implementing something and updating it periodically might make it more feasible for someone else to operate in the future.
Right. I think even if we created like pre-developed content on an app or a website, even after we've graduated, we could hand it over to someone who can make those edits or updates for us. Whereas in the simulation, I think cohort 13 or 11, sorry, not 13, 11, their simulation, like someone else has to do it for them when they're gone because they won't physically be there.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I wanted to add.
Yeah. What about the wire cutter approach? This idea of being the evaluator of resources and then the bridge to them.
I liked that. When I heard a little about it, like not that much, but from the little bit that I heard, I was just like, that sounds cool, being like the bridge.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before, but have any of you, I think Chris, you were familiar with Wirecutter, but had any of you heard of it before or ever used it? It's, so truly, you just go to the website right now, wirecutter.com, and it is, I don't know, it's not as big as Amazon, but I feel like everyone I know uses it, but I'm older than you guys. So.
I think it's an extension of New York Times, right?
It might be. Yeah, I could totally believe
Yes.
that.
Every time I'm like reading articles on there, I always get like the Wirecutter ads, and that's how I initially discovered it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it says New York
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah, it has the New York Times logo right next to it on mine.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so for like the way that we use it, our family uses it, or I personally use it, is like if there is some purchase or some new thing happening, then the first place I go is Wirecutter, because I love the way they review stuff. I trust them. Like I've built up this relationship with Wirecutter over time where they've proven to me their value. And so that's what I use for if I need a new vacuum cleaner, or I'm having a baby for the first time and I have no idea. There are 48 different versions of a diaper pail. Which one should I buy? That's where I go. So I could see it being an angle that would work if you find there's like an oversaturation of mental health resources out there. And as teens, it's like, where do I even start? Like, and who's telling me what's best? And do I trust those people?
I think it would definitely be a great place for like people to start. But I was curious, like most things that they compare on Wirecutter are pretty materialistic objects. Like they'll compare like products that companies will sell, not really resources like websites or stuff like that. So I was wondering, with the Wirecutter approach, would we be able to properly or effectively implement it with something like resources or websites or whatever is out there for those people?
Yeah,
because Wirecutter, it's pretty known for like comparing like products of like Amazon and all those other companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has a reputation.
So they have like articles of like people like reviewing stuff. So could we get like, if we did something like this, we could get like people like professionals to like review stuff, like contacts that we get through partnerships.
Yeah, that's true. That could be a way that you incorporate the professional piece, like the professional mental health piece, is that they are reviewing these things for you, but then you also have maybe teens who review it or something. So you're getting teen expertise, but you're also getting professional expertise. And then I'll say, as a mental health professional myself, I like that approach more than having like a mental health professional who moderates things. I think there's a lot less liability. Like if somebody came to me and said, will you moderate this conversation teens are having online, or will you review some resources and tell us if what you think of them? On the first one, I'd be worried about my license. I'd say like, okay, what liability do I have as a professional? If a teen says something, how do I have to follow up? What do I do with that information? They're a minor. But on the other, it's like, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll review it. Like, there's not an individual that might potentially be directly harmed by my reviewing the product or the resource.
Yeah, whenever people were talking about live chats, that kind of scared me. Because I was like, I feel like bad things could happen on the chats if it's,
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna ask, I think also another part of it is products can be like there is like you can have like an objective answer, like one product is more like is better, more durable or whatever than another. But the resources, I feel it's more tailored to the individual, because whatever works for them will be best for them. If they don't like the platform or if they don't like the design of certain resource, then they should always have access to another resource. And so I feel with the Wirecutter approach, I don't know, it could be limiting people's resources by giving them certain ones or designating certain ones better than others. Or with the Wirecutter approach, we could provide multiple resources from multiple platforms and just say, if you prefer this type of platform or whatever, like a chat-based, then this is for you. If you prefer this type of platform, this is for you. Something like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that a lot. Yeah. Cool. So guys, with the thinking about the difference between a proof of concept and a prototype, the proof of concept is what we're just talking about, evaluating, is this idea even feasible? And then the prototype is where you answer the question like, this is how I actually think it would work. And so I don't know that we've gotten to that in this committee. I'm curious if the other committees have, of basically breaking down, if we said, you know, we're going to look at the Wirecutter approach or the app website approach, could we answer the question, this is how we think it might work? I guess you were doing that just now, Krish, a little bit when you were talking about the Wirecutter stuff of like, we could go this way or this way. But let's just talk more about that. Moving from proof of concept to prototype, how do you think it would work? Just, and there's no wrong answer, you're just thinking out loud a little bit. Maybe start with like, if we did a website or an app, not the Wirecutter approach, what would that look like? How would it work? I saw your thing, Rhea. I say, I'm just going to answer it rather than type. Is that okay? Because it's just 6 of us. I would say, yeah, just let her in, and we can just say, you know, in 2 minutes, we're about to bring everybody back together. Or you can give her a few minutes. It's 1:26.
I can bring her in when I bring everyone back.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So any thoughts on the like app website, this is how it would work?
When you mean like how it'll work, do you mean like I don't know, I just think I'm personally a little bit confused. What do you mean like how it'll work? Like, do you mean like what like the implementation process of it will be, or what the specifics of it will be, or what?
I think that's a good question. I think it's more like, how would it function? Like what function, like what purpose would the app serve or the website serve? Would it be a live chat? Would it be you know, just a website that holds links to resources? What would it actually, if you were about to create an MVP and you were just talking through what would be included in that, what would it include?
Well, I think with the website, that's one of the things that makes it valuable, in my opinion, is that there's so many aspects you can include, so many tools you can add to a website, and it would also be feasible for us to do. And also with an app, you know, the same thing goes. You know, if you wanted a live chat, that's possible. If you wanted, well, pretty much any other feature besides the in-person aspect of it, which is like the only limiting factor of the app and website versus like the mental health fair, or you know, even if the mental health fair was virtual, then you know you wouldn't have that in-person aspect.
Yeah.
And then with the app and website, you also have the feature of convenience, which I think is huge. You know, you can access whenever you want. But that's also with the Wirecutter approach. But I was going to ask, wouldn't the Wirecutter approach be implemented with a website?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so in some ways,
So,
you could say like,
in some ways, like they tie together and, you know, fall into the same subset.
Is it a skinny branch of, you know, a website?
I would think so, because how else would you record like a video or something for people to watch of the resources? I mean, I feel like it would be more effective just to have people read at their own pace and look at their own pace, you know, what the resources are available, which ones they like, stuff like that. But I think the Wirecutter approach would more be of a subset of a website or an app, either one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Any other thoughts? And then I feel like maybe we should bring everybody back, not keep her waiting for too long. That's good. It's kind of nice to just have a small group discussion. I liked it.
I'm closing the rooms now.
Okay.
Bringing everybody back.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, hi, Alana. I see you too. Welcome.
I I have to see Alana. I don't see her.
She's
But it's so good to see everyone.
Hi guys.
I'm going to
Good to
mute
see
now,
you.
but it's great.
Okay. I'm gonna let them do their thing. They just got back from a little breakout, and they're about to kind of debrief what their committees have been doing. So Rhea, Kate, I'll let you guys take it away.
Yeah,
we're
so
actually waiting for our last breakout room to come back in.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they should be on here like in a second. Yep, they're back. Go ahead, Kate.
welcome, Lynn and Alana. Just to like catch you up a little bit, backstory on what we're doing. So recently we got more clarity on where we're going with our project. We came back, we kind of did a circle. We came back to our original topic of discuss the undiscussables, which is mainly talking about like we want to provide a space for people to talk about things they can't really talk about, specifically teens, to alleviate the unnecessary suffering they face because they can't talk about them, and provide an outlet because there are a lack of outlets. So since we got clarity on it, we decided to put a halt on the committees we originally had, and we had them just look into specific methods to see if they were viable, and then to see past that, like what would it look like to have that method. So our methods were a website / an app, and then a wire cutter, which is like if you've ever used it, it's just it reviews a lot of products on a website, and then a mental health fair. And I'll let Rhea get into that too to discuss it a little bit further.
So we had 3 main methods of interest that were kind of resonating within the cohort. So the first was either an app or a website, which could possibly provide an outlet or a place for resources. Again, we didn't get into the details because we needed to finalize which method we were going to use first. Our second option was a wire cutter, which is basically a bridge of resources where we evaluate resources that we want to bring out into the world. I thought it was a pretty interesting thing because I never heard of it before. But yeah, that was wire cutter. And then a mental health fair, we were thinking it could possibly provide like resources, possibly places where activities, just things that people can see or use to help them manage, or they're undiscussable. So those were the 3 main methods that our committees were evaluating at the time. Although they have names such as like branding and partnerships, we put a halt on their current function, as Kate was saying, and all committees are now evaluating all these methods in order for us to finalize which method we want to use. So I guess we should get into the committee reports. Lynn and Alana, do you have any questions before they start? Well, in that case, previous branding committee, if you want to share your screen and kind of give us a report of where you are.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen and then Deani will present.
Sounds good.
Okay, so wait, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
good.
sure. Okay. So for mental health fair, we said we just broke it up into sticky notes and asked, will it work? And we figured out that it would work. How will it work is that it will provide resources, create a safe place to talk, and provide a place for kids to connect with others. Is it feasible? Maybe in a non-COVID year for in-person, but an online method would be feasible if we find professionals that are willing to participate and speak and provide resources. Wire cutter, will it work? Yes. How will it work? It will require a lot of research and continue. It will require a lot of research and continue that throughout its existence. Is it feasible? Yes, but it will be hard to sustain and take a lot of work due to the fact that if new things do come out, we'd have to go back and review those things and continue updating our wire cutter. For app and websites, Will it work? Yes, it will. How will it work? Both resources will have chat rooms, more resources within them, and provide connections. Is it feasible? Kind of. We've already been over app and websites. If an app would be expensive, but that's the only major limitation. Websites, cheaper, we've been through that. And then there are some questions at the top that I think Rhea wanted to ask.
Okay, so we wrote these questions at the top just to like figure out where we are like as an entire cohort. So the first one is I didn't really like word it correctly, I feel like, but it says, is this the project that we had in mind at the beginning of the year? Because I feel like we were super clear on what we wanted to do, and then sort of as we got into the semester, we kind of we tried out a bunch of different things. So I just wanted to like regroup and say like, is this what we wanted to do in the first place? And if it is what we wanted to do, then the second question is, do we want to combine with another project that's already out there? Or do we just want to start our own? Because I know that was something that was brought up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that looks great, guys. Are there any questions from other committees? I really like how you guys organized everything. That's really great to see. And it looks like you guys are finding your way through Miro. And Lynn and Alana, we've been incorporating Miro into our meetings and stuff. And it's basically like an online whiteboard. That way we can display ideas and share it much more easily. That's great, guys.
I really liked the questions that you guys wrote out. So let someone flag that mentally, like Rhea K, who is I think just speaking, like, and let's make sure we come back to it after the other groups share.
Yep. Any questions before we move on? We will definitely be having a discussion. Just we want to make sure that all committees get to share. In that case, app functions, if you want to go ahead and share your screen or just talk about how you guys evaluated. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle is going to present and I will present our things. So basically how we went about it is we made a list of pros and cons and then answered the evaluating questions of proof of concept, which asked if the idea was feasible, a prototype, which asks how it will work, and then an MVP, which tests how people will use it. And so our first method that we looked at was the mental health fair. And so what we found was that there was a lot of pros, like it was engaging, and then there was a lot of different paths that we could take with it. And it really focuses on Tulsa's teens, and it was a very straightforward project once we picked the path we wanted to take. And also we would be very like involved and hands-on. This method met a lot of our initial criteria, but some cons were that it's similar to the Mental Health Symposium. There would be a lot of costs to run and maintain the fair, and obviously the biggest one would be the risks due to COVID-19. And whenever we evaluated this method, we decided that overall it wouldn't be feasible without a COVID-19 vaccine, because obviously our biggest priority is keeping everyone safe and we don't want to spread the virus. But a possible prototype could be a test mental health fair with just like trifolds and us just going around to test logistics and to see if it's engaging. And then an MVP could just be a small scale fair at OU Tulsa. And then the next method we looked at was an app or website. Some pros is that it was very accessible and we can make it really unique and less dangerous. And less dangerous than in-person methods because we can monitor what's happening, and obviously there's no COVID-19 risks. But the cons are the costs in that people aren't as engaged and there doesn't seem to be much interest. It's very complicated and we don't really know our role once the app is developed. And also there is an excess of mental health in apps and resources. When we evaluated this method, we decided the idea is feasible if we work closely with professionals like therapists and app developers to make sure that it was really like high quality and safe overall. And then a prototype could be a website with a few key features to test engagement, and then our MVP could be a website that doesn't cost a lot that we can promote and get reviews on so that we can improve it later. And then lastly, our last method was a wire cutter and being a bridge to other resources. And the pros is that it's a really new idea. There's less liability. It connects people to really trusted resources. It's accessible and engaging, and we can still add our own unique features, like things that we talk about, like motivational text and like other things that like were really that we really liked about like the app and website. We could incorporate that into the wire cutter function like method as well. Some cons is that it compromises a lot of our criteria, but that's not because like we're straying away. It's more due to COVID-19 because initially we wanted to be very involved and hands-on with our project and to target it towards teens in Tulsa, but that's really hard to do now. And so whenever we evaluated this method, we decided if we worked with professionals, it would be feasible just to make sure it's safe and also developed nicely with app developers. And a prototype would be a website or like a fake website with a few reviews, and we could ask a therapist for their opinion. And then our MVP would once again be a website that doesn't cost a lot, and we would distribute it, get reviews, and then improve from there. And yeah, is there any questions or?
That's great, guys. And again, I love how you guys used Miro. It's so nice to see that you guys are like getting the hang of it and it's looking great. It's very visually pleasing to like see everything there. But any questions for this committee?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the visual was very, very helpful. I really like that and appreciate it.
We tried to add like some pink overlays, but like didn't really work out well, but like we did what we could, so.
Well, it looks great. If there aren't any questions, then we can go ahead and move on to the next committee. Partnerships, if you guys want to go ahead.
Hi, okay, I'm gonna just share my screen. Can you guys hear me? Good. Alright. So we broke ours up and we did the three like we were, well, yeah. And so we divided ours by the pros and cons and then the possible methods and MVP if it's possible. So I'm gonna start off with the website and app. So we thought it'd be easily accessible, customizable. It can be interactive. Like Rowan said that we wanted ours to be really interactive and the health fair was going to do that. The app and website can still be interactive online without, COVID. And the cons are that it's expensive. Like when we looked at the app, it's going to take thousands of dollars, especially to maintain that. It already exists and there's many possible liability issues if something happens, like to monitor all of those chat rooms and to have a professional there could be like really hard to do that to make sure nothing happens. And also, oh, that's on the next one. So for the possibility, like maybe, I don't know if an app could be as feasible because of the funding, but a website could be feasible. There's already so many things out there and technology wise for mental health things. There's a lot of apps and websites. I think Haley said that when she talked to the psychiatrist that there's already so many things out there. So if we do something, it needs to be unique. Otherwise, we'll be wasting our resources duplicating something that's already out there. And we could partnership with someone else to do this, like the other group said. And the thing about an app and a website, especially an app, it's hard to maintain and like hand off after us, because to maintain an app, it's thousands of dollars, like Krish said. And handing off a website, we'd also need to find someone to hand off that website to keep like making sure it's okay and, you know, like updating it and stuff like that, which could also be costly or a lot of time. And for MVP, I mean, we could do like a website, like a prototype of a website and see how that works. But there's not really a way to just like do a prototype of an app. Like if we did a prototype of an app, like we would still have to like have it out. I mean, we could like do a small version where we just show people of how it would be, but to do an actual like prototype of the app, it would have to be like published, you know? Does that make sense? Okay. So I'll still share my screen, but the next person can present it.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. So the next thing is Wirecutter. The pros we put were that it was easily accessible, customizable, unique, and it's safer. The pros are pretty similar to the website/app. The only difference would be like no liability issues, because we wouldn't have like a chat room or anything like that. And then for cons, it's less interactive, because it's more like we're just giving people information. We're not really, I feel like it doesn't really go aligns with our purpose statement, because it's not really like an outlet for teens to like express themselves. It's more to just like help teens to like, you know, like find the correct resources. And then there's already stuff with resources on there. And then another con is like, we're not sure how much information there is to review, and like there's nothing to really to like tell us like, oh yeah, you have reviewed like every single mental health service or product out there. So I feel like it'd be hard to know if we like have reviewed every single thing out there. So possible. It is very possible. It could be a website, which again is less expensive than an app. So it wouldn't be as complicated. And then it could assimilate with a pre-existing project. And so an MVP would just to create like a mock website, like a Wix, because those are free, and then like send it out for people to try it and see if it works.
Okay, so I am going to kind of talk about the mental health fair a little bit more. And honestly, the majority of our pros and cons do mainly tie in with the other, like the previous committees who have presented. Some of the pros are, of course, of the three options, this is most likely the most interactive and the only hands-on experience of the three. We could make it very unique. It would be super informational. It would also be super beneficial if we could partner with some other organizations to help us create kind of a really a fair that would be able to kind of touch all parts of Tulsa and eventually maybe even spread a little bit wider than that. But of course, with the current COVID situation, an in-person project is really difficult to plan. So kind of moving into the cons, of course, COVID. A fair itself could become very expensive. Just the expenses of maintaining a project like that, it could become very expensive. Our group did kind of brainstorm the idea of taking this fair and moving it to an online platform, but we did all kind of agree that online would be difficult to do with this type of to get participation. So ultimately, is it going to be possible? We think that, of course, in a COVID-free time, the in-person project would be very possible, super informational, and a great option. But unless we have the dramatic change in the current situation, is an online version of this fair going to be possible? And so we just kind of talked about it's really hard to take this again into an online platform, but if we were able to do this, we could try to make it a smaller version, kind
kind of like our board says, maybe through a Zoom call, or maybe we could kind of experiment with it through some small classes in different schools that are doing in-person learning right now, and just see kind of how we could take this option and expand on it further, even though it would most likely have to be online.
Thank you guys, that was great. Any questions for this committee? Again, great visuals. It looks great. It makes me so happy that you guys are getting Miro and stuff. But if there aren't any questions, we can move on to our last committee. So other apps, I know it's just two of you guys today, but if you guys want to share your screen or just talk.
So unfortunately, we don't have a nice and neat presentation like the other committees, partly because half of our committee is missing, but we did have a few things that we wanted to talk about, and Sterling can add on as well. So the first thing we wanted to talk about was that our purpose statement talks about a lack of outlets. And we were wondering if the Wirecutter approach acknowledges that there are outlets, but they're just made unknown to people. So, that brings up the question whether is there really a lack of outlets, or are the outlets just unknown to the people? And that all comes back to our purpose statement, which says there are a lack of outlets. So we feel in order to effectively decide a method, we should come back to our purpose statement and first interpret that. The other thing we discussed was that the Wirecutter approach kind of falls as a subset under the app and website, because the only way to truly implement the Wirecutter approach would be through an app or a website. I'm not sure how else you would, get the information out there. Like if you just talk to people, it wouldn't be as effective, obviously. And when comparing with a mental health fair would require for people to, either attend virtually or in person at a specific time. And the information wouldn't be as convenient to access for those people who can't attend that time, while an app or a website is available all the time and they can access whenever or wherever. So overall, the general consensus of our committee was that the Wirecutter approach kind of falls under a subset of this app/website. And in order to decide if we want to take that approach, we have to first look at our purpose statement and see if there are truly a lack of outlets, or are there just outlets unknown to the people. Sterling, if you want to add on to anything.
Well, you said it really good, Chris. But yeah, the problem with the mental health fair is like what he said. Like, it might not be able to reach everyone if it's just like a set time. And if we did like the Wirecutter or just like online method, which is basically Wirecutter, then people can access it like whenever they need to, and it has like a lot of resources like available at once, which I really like about that method. So yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. I was just going to bring it back to your question about the purpose statement, and that may be what you're about to do. So go for it.
That was not what I was about to do, so you can go ahead first.
I wanted to get some reaction from the cohort, because I think Chris brings up a really excellent point. And if you'll look over in the chat, Kate has posted your purpose statement, which says, our purpose is to alleviate the unnecessary suffering teens experience due to a lack of outlets for productively addressing topics. So I just want to hear from maybe the cohort of, what do you all think? You all have done research on this potential topic now for several months. Do you think there are a lack of outlets, or have you discovered in your research that there's actually not? Perhaps there's a lot of outlets out there and we just don't know about them, or they're not vetted, or maybe you all as experts in teens know that your people are not accessing the resource. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree with Krish. I think that we really do need to like reevaluate our purpose statement, because through all the presentations and through all of our research, we have realized that like a lack of outlets obviously isn't the problem if we've been able to find all of these different websites and methods that were like, oh, if we did this, it's too similar to that. So obviously something is already there. And I think it's okay that we change our purpose statement, because now we like have more knowledge of what's actually out there. And it's not like compromising anything. It's just like simply we know more now than we did a year ago whenever we first made our purpose statement, so it's okay if we change it.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I think right now, like what I found at least with the apps is that each of them have one function, whereas our goal was to have like multiple functions, you know, not just like this one tracks your mood, this one connects you with other people. So I think that doing the wire cutter, it would connect you with all of them. I mean, even if you did have to go to different websites or different resources, it connects you with all of them. And I think it's okay to change the purpose statement too. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard considering the differences of lack of outlets. You just put a lack of known outlets. So it's not like we're like changing the entire thing. It's you could add a one word and it would better explain what we're trying to get to.
I wanted to chime in too on that. That's very important. I mean, ultimately, you want to get to a purpose statement that is not very changeable. But remember, you wrote that months ago, and you're still, even now, at the very early stages of your project. So allowing for it to evolve is really important at this stage. I think it's really great. And I love the thoughtful conversation about it. That's very purposeful.
What is everyone else thinking about the points that, I know there's some stuff going on in the chat, but if anyone wants to chime in to their thoughts on the topic.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were actually talking about this in our group. I forgot to say that, but Krish said that the wire cutter goes under the website, like it's a subsection. And we were actually talking about, like Katie said, that we wanted to have different aspects in our project, right? We didn't just want to focus on like mood, like we wanted to have all of that encompassed. And so we were talking about like a wire cutter just like shows like which resources would help and stuff. And we were talking about if we had a website, we could have, if we were able to do this, still have that interactive chat stuff and like whatever else we were thinking about the interactive website. And we could also have like a wire cutter section of the website that focuses on all the resources that are already there. So we don't like focus on like recreating those resources, but we could also still have like a part of what we wanted still, like we could encompass both things under that website if we were able to.
I completely see your point with that, Megan. I think that there are like a website we could do a whole bunch of things at the same time like we wanted to do. But I really feel like, I don't know if this is something that like everybody would agree on, but I really feel like we're going to be a lot more effective if we do use all of our resources towards just one thing. Like if we do like emphasize a lot on using resources so we can make the best we can wire cutter resource bridge. And then we're not trying to balance everything at the same time and only being able to give half effort to like 6 different things. We can just do really, really great at some things so we can connect like at the one thing so we can connect people to what's already out there and what's already going on.
Yeah, definitely. I was just suggesting that because we thought about it and that reminded me what Krish said when Krish said that. That's just, I think if we should just still keep it in the loop just to think about, but I definitely think we should focus on one part. But if we're able to, we can like encompass that part too. So that's just like an out there idea. But yeah.
There's a lot going on in the chat. I'm just like trying to read everything. But yeah, these are great points that we're bringing up. It really makes you wonder. Sorry, I'm like trying to read it at the same time. Yeah, definitely. Things have definitely changed since we came up with our purpose statement. So it's okay to modify it a bit. And I think that and just hearing the like similar ideas when people are talking about what we should do, like bridging and making sure that there are known outlets. So I'm hearing similar words, which is good that we're kind of sort of on a consensus, but we want to hear from other people, like what else are your thoughts? And thank you, Krish, for bringing up this idea, like this question. This is something that we definitely needed to think about. So thank you for bringing it up.
Or maybe can I add to your question a little bit, Ria? I want to maybe hear from some of you. If you were the co-facilitator, which any of you could be, what consensus or what are you hearing? What trends are you hearing in conversation? What are you pulling out from the discussion that would be useful toward meaningful progress, right? You guys said at the beginning of the meeting, we answered the question, what does meaningful progress look like? And you said deciding on a method or coming to consensus or narrowing down. So I'm wanting to hear from you all. What are you all hearing from each other as you move toward consensus on a method?
A lot of us are saying like we think that there are a lot of methods, but we just like don't know about them. So maybe we could like reconsider. And I mean, I guess the wire cutter is like a method that puts it out there. I don't know how to word that, but like somehow bringing awareness to the outlets maybe would be a better option. But yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ashlyn. I feel like a lot of like outside of YPI, I know whenever I talk to people, they've all been saying that like we don't really know exactly what we're doing, but I really like this idea of more like showing resources to people, because like everyone's been saying now that as we do more research, we're finding out that there's a lot more resources than we think of, but just like no one really knows about them. So I feel like if we use our project to kind of show people those resources, I feel like that would be really helpful.
Yeah, in general, I think that what we all felt was that we liked the mental health idea, but we also created that pretty much before COVID like was an issue, and our purpose statement was created before COVID was an issue too. So we realized that isn't really possible, even though we wish it could be. And I think that in general, most people like the wire cutter idea, but I think a lot of us want to add something to it as well. Like have our thing, like doesn't have to be big, but then also have the resources as like our second big part of it, because it's still going to take a lot of time. Like we're going to have to go through apps and apps and apps, which I mean is like we can do that. That's not crazy hard, you know. It's not unreasonable to do. But and then we can think about something to add to it that would give our own little spin to it. Is basically what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I just wanted to add on to what Ria said earlier about, oh, sorry, Miranda, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Krish.
I was just going to say, I was adding on to what Ria said earlier. The wire cutter approach wouldn't necessarily just state that one resource is necessarily the best, because certain people have different needs, different adaptations, different preferences. So there would be like a multitude of resources that we would present through the wire cutter approach. And also the wire cutter approach is usually used for like objective products, like one object is more durable than another, or one object is larger or lasts longer or something. But with ours, it would be a little bit more modified because we would be presenting more resources that would, be accessible for anyone, or that would be like available for people who have different preferences of resources to effectively match their needs.
I think that overall there is a consensus that we need to reevaluate our purpose statement because of these things that we learned. I agree that there is not necessarily a lack of outlets, but a lack of known outlets. I will say that there is another lack of something that I remember reading Haley's document that the Dr. Rebecca Huber that she met with said that to her knowledge, she didn't know of any program that teaches teens how to utilize these things and open up to others. So if we also want to modify our purpose statement, we could also consider that as well. But I think in general, we do need to remodify it.
Somebody want to answer Haley's question, just maybe verbally? I see it chatting, but Haley's posing the question. Just someone articulate, what exactly are we changing in the purpose statement?
So I think it'd be changed, instead of a lack of outlets, it'd be more of a lack of known outlets, is what people have been proposing.
What I'm seeing in the chat is that people are talking about we need to change it due to COVID. Is there anything anybody would like to add for that aspect of it?
Sorry, this isn't about COVID.
Kayla, we'll have to come back to you.
But I feel like
or not.
Would we
Hey, Kayla, can you type it in the chat? You're cutting out a bunch.
also change the undiscussables part, because I feel like
definitely get back to. Oh, she's gone. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, when that happens, I don't know if it's possible, but just mute the person. You know, it's not rude. You know, I mean, if it's.
I tried.
Okay. All right. No worries. No worries. Okay. All right. We made it through. Go ahead.
Yeah. What I'm seeing in the chat, a lack of known outlets. I think that's kind of what's resonating within the committee. I'm hearing it multiple times. Yeah, one word does make a difference because it kind of changes the direction that we would go in. But any more ideas? I'm really loving like the conversation that we're having right now, the ideas and stuff. So anyone else?
Ria, or Kate, somewhere on our mural board, do we have our outcomes listed out? Because we could, to Haley's bringing up a good point. Okay, if we're changing the purpose statement, we probably ought to check our outcomes, which is really great thinking. So let's just do that right now as a group.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find it under the POM. Yep, right there.
So we have a little.
You guys are awesome. You're like, yeah, we have it. Let me just zoom in real quick to this beautiful color-coded board. Great job.
I really enjoyed making this one.
Ria is a great organizer.
So we had like 4 specific sections. So one area was education/community. Another area was support. Another area was expression, and the other area was validation. So under each, I can bring everyone to me as well. So under education and community, we had identify warning signs, destigmatize, and more empathy for teens experiencing undiscussables. I'm like trying to like multitask and look at the chat at the same time. But if anyone wants to like unmute themselves and add on to that of like how changing our purpose statement would affect the education/community outcomes that we have as of now.
I was just gonna say overall, even though like us as a cohort may not be directly addressing the outlets we created, our goal is to connect them to something that will. So I think in that we're still like addressing them, you know. Now whether they take the time to like go to that, we can work on that, find a way to make it them want to go see separate things. But I think necessarily that we're just connecting them to things that address the outlets we created. So obviously I think we should add some more that more specifically address what we're trying to do. But I don't think necessarily that our outlets aren't achievable by the means that we're trying to do.
I feel like with our outcomes, most of them were like us wanting to be that like outlet to someone. So now that we're like wanting to connect them to other outlets, I feel like most of them are going to have to change or be like taken off because it's like a different method. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I get what you're trying to say, Kate. Yeah. So what we kind of need to focus on, I guess, is which specific ones need to be added and which specific ones do we want to take out to help guide us into what we want from our method. So in the education community kind of sector, is there anything specifically that we're missing that we would want to come out of our method of providing, like making outlets more known? So I added connecting teens to outlets, but that's kind of vague. So are there any specific ones that we want to add on to that? Yeah, definitely. Add them in the chat. And we do kind of want to break in like 5 minutes. So if we want to do this during, oh yeah, definitely, Adam. Go straight on to Miro and add on stuff, yes.
Hey, so, Rhea, so
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about the, like, changing the education part if we change the purpose statement to, like, lack of unknown. Is that what we're doing? Making sure.
I feel like essentially there would be education going on if we are like bringing known outlets. But again, this is what do we want to target, if that makes sense. So is that something that we still want to target with our project?
Okay, because if I'm thinking if we like focus on trying, like if we did the wire cutter method and we focused on trying to like bring resources together to like, you know, like trying to get them accessible to other people, we wouldn't really be like identifying warning signs and stuff. Like our project alone, like I guess like indirectly we would kind of still, we would like be connecting teens to outlets and stuff like, no wait, we would be connecting teens to outlets. I mean like having other more education, like more empathy and destigmatizing and stuff like that. Like wouldn't that be like indirectly, not direct from our project? Does that make any sense?
It does. I just wanted to say thank you, Lynn, for coming. We hope you enjoyed your time here, and thank you for sitting in and listening to us. We
yes,
really
thank you.
Here. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So, oh yeah, definitely, Alana. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
I won't take long. You all have really impressed me today, and obviously you've impressed Lynn. During the time of COVID, don't hesitate to use local partners. There's nothing wrong with letting someone else have done the heavy lifting before you. Honestly, Lynn and I weren't certain that you all would be able to perform as well as you have using an online platform, and you proved us wrong in the very first meetings. We've had conversations as recently as last week about how wrong we were. So I urge you not to discount the possibility that an online mental health fair approach can't work. We have an organization we work with that during the craziness of the summer did a series of online presentations at which there were usually 200 professionals attending. And I think if you were able to market something like that effectively, you would get hundreds of teens. Just the topic of discussing the undiscussable reels me in every time I see it. I think there's some opportunities for you all to work with the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health or the Oklahoma Mental Health Association and get ideas for how they get the word out to organizations. They have a quick training program called QPR, Question, Persuade, and Refer, that's primarily targeted at suicide, but they could probably talk with you about how that could be shifted to the focus you want in order to present an online opportunity to vet and go through a lot of the sites that might be determined through your Wirecutter process. There are so many opportunities out there. Don't get disheartened, because you have some time ahead of you. And if you decide to do a series of online presentations that would sort of be like a mental health fair, you could do that fairly inexpensively and definitely effectively. So you have so many good ideas out there, and I like that you're willing to be flexible on your purpose statement at this time to ensure that during the era of COVID, you're able to continue with this. But don't think COVID is going to keep you from achieving your goals, because it's not keeping our nonprofits from serving their clients. They're using telehealth to do a lot of that. Never, ever underestimate the power of online. Look at you today. All of you are here, you're engaged. Maybe you're even more engaged because you're not seeing what's going on, around you as much. But you've blown me away today, just as you have Lynn, and I really, really appreciate you all letting us sit in. And I know you need a break, and so I'll exit the room as well and follow Lynn out to whatever's next on a Friday. Happy Halloween, happy fall, and thank gosh for the sunshine. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much for the support, and we loved having you guys.
Yes, thank you. Those comments were very helpful. I know they will be.
Yes.
Good luck. Adam and Emily,
Thank
we need
you.
to talk about 14.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll email you.
Okay, thanks.
Have your people talk to our people, which happens to be you and us. So
I am.
And we're our people. We'll talk soon.
All right, keep going. Don't let me interrupt you.
Thanks. Enjoy the
Thank
weather.
you.
Enjoy the weekend.
Happy Halloween.
Goodbye. So on that note, I think we should take a quick 5-minute break. Look at that perfect timing. But yeah, so we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be back, and we're going to actually do the team building activity that we have saved for like 6 weeks. So we're excited. So we'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Awesome job. And you can pause the recording while we're on break.
Okay, that's me. I'll do it.
Cool. Wow. So great. You guys, yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. How long do we have? 5 minutes? All right, I'm going to ride my unicycle.
We can start bringing everyone back.
I realized you're just gonna hear me typing, so I should probably mute myself again.
I find the sound like aesthetically pleasing, but everyone else doesn't. Like
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's just like clack, clack, clack.
Like when I type on FaceTime, my friends start getting like really mad.
I kind of like it.
Oh.
Also, today was one of our best turnouts at a monthly meeting, so we are really happy to see everyone.
I have to get ready for Palm, so I won't have my video on for a while, but I'll try to turn it on and get ready fast. But I just wanted to
Yeah,
let you
no problem. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. A little bit of typing. I don't know about you guys, but I do get a little intimidated when people hear me typing because I feel like I type way too slow.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. So Kate, if you want to explain our super exciting team building activity that we've been kind of holding off for weeks.
So yeah, we definitely have been, we've had this idea for a long time and we just haven't used it yet, but really excited to use it this time. So this team building activity is called This is Better Than That. So we're going to be in teams. There's 4 teams, and you guys as a team, we're going to come up with the most ideas you can think of within 5 minutes of how to like get out of your situation. Be creative. Think of all the ideas you can. Think of it as like ideating. You don't necessarily want to put other people down for their ideas because nothing is off limits. So go into the 5-minute breakout rooms. Just try to be creative. Try to make as many ideas for how to get out of your situations. And your situations are very fun. This is why we were very excited to have this activity because one group is shrunken. One group is saving the world from Godzilla. Another group is trapped inside an oil painting. And another one is stuck in a basement. So you're going to try and get out. So think of the most ideas you can within 5 minutes and then be ready to share and debrief.
Yeah, so feel free to make a list. No, Sterling, I made sure that you were in the same group as Haley. That way you guys can join together. And we have a doc posted on Basecamp, and your breakout room will say which team you're on. So that is the scenario that you're assigned to. So go to the doc on Basecamp that says this is better than that activity. And I already have the breakout rooms set and everything. So these are the most random scenarios. So feel free, this is an activity about creativity and just thinking outside of the box. So have fun with it. So we'll see you guys soon. Any questions? We want to leave it as vague as possible because it leaves room for creativity. So,
Yeah, go in and have fun, be creative, work as a team. Very exciting.
So are there any questions?
Are we supposed to put like all our ideas on the doc that you shared out on Basecamp, or are we making our own doc?
You can make your own doc or whatever works for your team. You don't have to put it on the doc that we posted.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone else? Well, in that case, we'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Hey guys, or Bia, are you joining a room?
I think I will stay here.
Okay. Yeah, you might
Yeah.
need like a little mental reprieve, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
was trying to even out the committees because some of the groups were a little bit uneven.
okay.
But yeah.
Adam and I, you can do whatever you need to do in this moment. I was just gonna let you know, Adam and I are kind of talking on the side a little bit about how to pick back up the conversation they were just having. So we want you to feel like that's all on you and Kate. Like we'll help facilitate some of that. Those next
Okay,
steps.
that sounds good.
Yeah. So.
And Emily, I hate to say ask, but Emily, you might have to carry the lion's share of that. I know I came late, but I'll also be leaving early as well.
That's right.
But you guys are killing it. You and
Thank
you got us another cohort, honestly. Like Emily and I just the other day were like, all right, when should we bring up cohort 14 to the foundation and blah, blah. And we didn't even have to. You guys were so good. You just shook it out of them. You grabbed them by the legs and turned them upside down and you said, give us another cohort. So well done. Thank you, Rhea. Okay.
Really excellent. How did it feel for you, Rhea?
I honestly, the cohort kind of led themselves in the conversation. So it was really nice to kind of like step back and listen and then just have to jump in to say like, oh, this is what I'm hearing. Is this true? So I think that really helped. Yeah.
But did they lead themselves? I mean, yes, that is true. But how was there anything that made it easy for them to lead?
I guess you could say the co-facilitators made it easier to facilitate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was excellent. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we at least Adam and I, Rhea, you if you want to, but if you need to do other things, do it. Can we talk for the few minutes about where to take them next? Really,
of course, yeah.
Time. I just told Adam this. I really have a sense that we need to help them in moving toward consensus. That means that we have to take some things off the table as a group. And so I'm wondering if we can get them there. Like, I will say, prior to Alana talking, I was kind of thinking like, okay, it sounds like consensus is maybe mental health fairs off the table.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then when she said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but we could still put it out there, say, hey guys, that's kind of what we heard, but like, are there any reactions to that? Like, I don't want one comment to like, if the whole group had, kind of gotten toward consensus, I don't want one comment to spin it, although it was a good point too.
Yeah.
So, and then I would say also, this is me just thinking out loud. I really liked Krish's point about that really the wire cutter approach is a website. So in essence, they're not really two separate things. It's like one is a skinny branch of the other.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So, it's basically what the website is accomplishing, basically.
Yeah, how it functions. Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I feel like the entire cohort is essentially moving towards the wire cutter method as we go on. We're hearing more ideas and I'm seeing the cohort kind of gravitate towards it. But again, like I think we kind of have to keep watching where the discussion goes, especially after what Alana said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is it, guys. This is the experience. This is what when you get out of school is waiting for you, except now you're experiencing it now. It's, you're making a project, you're working on this, you're going to do an event, you're going to drill a well, it's it's going to be whatever version of what you're doing here, but it's going to be working in groups, getting people aligned, quit doinking around with politics and personalities, you know? And so this is it. These are the skills that are needed to bring people together instead of dividing them. Oh, so you guys, you're getting it. This is it. You're doing wonderful. I mean, really, truly, it's just a real pleasure to see it happening. All right. So go take yourself a little bit of a break if you need one.
They're coming back in from there.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll
So-
be coming back in like 20 seconds.
Well, no rest for the wicked then. All right. I'm taking a break then because I'm not wicked.
Oh my gosh.
Oop, I think we're bringing them back in now.
Okay.
Welcome back, guys. I think we have a few stragglers.
That was a lot of fun. What were you guys thinking about it?
Ria, I was going to add a link to our doc, but I can't edit the original doc. You want me to just add it onto Basecamp?
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Or if you want to just send the link here, it's up to you, whichever works for you.
I can't. I have it on my computer, and then I have the Zoom on a different device.
Okay, sounds good. We have everyone back. We have everyone back. Okay, before we hear all the ideas, what do you guys think of the experience of just being able to think out of the box?
Diani comes out with some crazy ideas, but they're actually crazy cool too if you think about them more. Don't judge an idea by your first thought of it.
Yes. Anyone else? Any other thoughts, reactions about the activity before we hear the ideas?
It was kind of fun just like throwing out ideas without knowing like they won't work because you can just be super creative with it. So it was kind of fun just saying all these ridiculous things and knowing like, hey, it might work.
Yeah, that's how I felt. It was just a lot of fun to like come up with random ideas that were crazy for the scenarios that we were in, like being stuck in an oil painting, like what? But it was like come up with weird things for a weird situation.
You need to be grateful that it was not the original one. You want to tell them what it was originally?
So originally it was you are stuck in Adam's body.
I mean, you guys, I just want to tell you from personal experience, it is a nightmare. It's 50 years in the making. It's got like 50 sequels. I'm working on part Nightmare on Adam Street, part 51. But that's enough about me. I think it was way better than one you did. You were stuck in an oil painting. Way better, right?
Have you guys ever seen the children's books by a guy named James Mayhew? And it's like Katie and the Starry Night. Katie, the main character is a little girl named Katie. You know? They're so adorable. If you like children's books, But it's about a little girl named Katie, and she literally gets stuck in oil paint, like in paintings and art. She gets stuck in so one of the books is she gets stuck in all these Van Gogh paintings. One of them is she gets stuck in all these Monets. Anyway, it's really cool, very cute. You're not too old to enjoy them.
Hope she didn't
That's so
mean
cool.
the Van Gogh paintings. Why is that the only thing I think about?
What? Oh, the ear thing?
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, okay, bye.
Okay. Does group 1 want to share? Like share your screen or just talk
I'm not
about
going
it?
to share my screen. I'm just going to list them.
Okay.
So we went a very different direction than what I think was expected. So I'm just going to go through the list. We started with taking a pill to get bigger. Then use a magnifying glass to make us look bigger. Height surgery. Somebody said Dorothy slippers, which I don't know where that came from. And then use the Oompa Loompas and the taffy stretcher from Willy Wonka. And then eat a whole bunch and become bigger. And then after that, we were like, why not just stay small and adapt? So we got to use a leaf and fly, go to Switzerland, dress like Greek gods, meet and become friends with large humans like from the Bee Movie, and then make a colony of little people like Horton Hears a Who. That's all we got.
I really like the ideas.
I love them.
Those are so good.
All of them were Arjun's ideas, and everybody else just sat back and watched it. I'm kidding.
A lot of
Very
them were Diani's
creative.
and Saria's as well.
I'm
call 'em out.
impressed. I'm definitely impressed.
Definitely. Wow, Diani, impressive. Okay. So team 2, you want to share?
And
Yeah,
they
we
are
were-
saving the world from Godzilla.
Yeah, we're saving the world from Godzilla. So first we would put Godzilla to sleep with either sleeping pills or tranquilizer dart. We'd kill him, obviously the most obvious thing. We would shrink him with a shrink ray and then smash him down with a boot. And then we'd make him fall in love with someone or something so he won't destroy the world. Make him fall in love with us so he'll listen to us and stop destroying the world. Drown him in the ocean. Civilize him. Turn him into a human. Send him to the past so the dinosaurs will have to deal with him and not us. Shoot him into space with a spaceship. Make him into a rocket firework and shoot him up into the sky. Turn him into something else like a dog or another pet. Get his mom and have her scold him. Give him corona. Put him in the California wildfires. Drown him in acid. Give him amnesia. Give him an existential crisis to deprive him of motion. Pause him and turn him into a statue, and then break the statue.
Deprive him of motivation, not emotion.
Anybody want to add any to it?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, guys. Motivation.
I love those. Kind of harsh, but I still love them. Got to deal with Godzilla somehow.
The give him COVID one was a personal favorite of mine. That was really good. That was very creative.
I really like the
really did
scolding
like that one.
from his mom.
Lots of smiles from the whole cohort. That was very fun to watch.
Yes, I loved it.
That was so cool.
Team 3, if you want to go ahead.
Okay, so from team 3, can you hear me?
Yes, you're kind of cutting out, but we can hear you, yeah.
Okay. I can share my screen on my computer just so if I do end up cutting out a lot, somebody else can share. Here we go.
And team 3 is stuck in an oil painting.
So, yeah, we were trapped in an oil painting. So we decided to move from frame to frame, like in Harry Potter. Now, I've never seen Harry Potter, but that's what Ashlyn said. Very creative. Run into the frame so we can use the force to break out. If there's glass in front of the painting, we can sing to break the glass. We can heat up the paint and melt it to get out. We can accept that we're in the painting and learn to love it. As Chris said, like, what could be so bad? So we can just accept that we're there and like it. We can haunt the people to get out of the painting, like in It, is what Michelle said. We can mess with the museum security, kind of like in Night of the Museum. And art imitates life, so we are life. So we're living it up. And we could also paint wings and fly out of the painting. So that was about it.
I love it. These are all so fun. Yes, Krish, what's the harm in being admired? You're right.
And this is a stretch, but with the frame thing, I was like, maybe there could be a glitch and we end up in a door frame instead of a picture frame, and then from there we can get out.
Big brain. This is so fun to watch. Like, the ideas are so, like, out there. I love it. Our last team 4.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we were trapped in a basement, and we didn't know like what kind of basement it was, and so we just went with like it's a normal basement. So walk up the stairs and exit through the door. Break through the door if it's locked. If there's like a window, we can crawl out. If there's a vent, we can go through the vent. Someone said lightsaber through the door. Punch through the door, blow up the door, axe the door, set the door on fire, slowly chip through the door, /wall /ceiling, call for help if we have a phone, hoist each other up, break through the ceiling and go through there, look for a secret or trap door, call the firefighters. Yeah, that's what we have. Not as creative, but practical.
And you forgot to throw a bowling ball through the door and to summon a tornado to destroy the house.
Summon tornado. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Sorry.
I love it, guys. So after hearing all these ideas, what do you guys think of the activity? Any thoughts, comments? Feel free to unmute yourself.
It was a lot of fun. It was really stupid and creative, but fun.
Yeah, we definitely. Oh yeah, go ahead, Ashlyn.
Sorry. It was kind of like, not really, but it was kind of mindless because they were so, like, the situations were so unique that, like, it's something that, like, you would never have to actually do, except maybe the basement one. But but, like, they were just kind of, like, mindless things, like, oh, here's a fun idea, and you didn't have to worry about if it was feasible or not or anything.
It was kind of cool, like, in a sense, you got to learn about other people in a kind of weird way. Like, now I know that Diani wants to dress up like Greek goddesses, or like, I don't know. And that Kate's never watched Harry Potter, which is, but still, it was like a fun way that we still learned about each other.
I think it was very encouraging since no ideas were shot down, everything was accepted. So like it kind of boosts everyone's self-esteem, like unconsciously or consciously, that people support your idea because there is no way to shoot it down.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we want to bring here as a cohort. Just like every idea has value, and we want to listen to all ideas. So that was kind of the point of the exercise. That was kind of, we're trying to like put that in there, that crazy ideas can actually, they're great. So I'm glad you guys had fun with it. We really enjoyed. Oh yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, did anybody find that as people started to be more creative, it made you feel more creative? And the opposite is true. You ever notice that? Who sets that tone? Who decides? Who decided that?
I remember I don't remember when it was, but we watched a video it was about the first person and then the second person. Like the first person has to go out on a limb and like dance and like the first one to dance in a crowd, and then the second one has to support them, and that's also nerve-wracking because you don't know if anybody else is. And that just reminded me of that. But it was super fun because like one person would be creative, and then it would just get people excited, and we would just all be silly and create a bunch of I know they were very fun.
Also, I can show you that one if you want to see it.
Yep. I don't know what that was, but yeah.
Adam, it's so zoomed in. Can you zoom? Is it too zoomed in?
Well, I'm glad you guys had fun with that. We've been wanting to do that for a while now, so we're really happy that we finally got to use that activity. But I guess if we can definitely move on now. So usually we have our discussion question or our check-in towards the beginning of our meeting. So we wanted to try something new and have it in the middle this time. So we want to have just kind of a quick discussion in like discussion groups. And you guys can like check in after answering the question. But the question is, as a result of the project, in what ways would you like to grow? So when we're thinking about our project, creating something, how would you like to grow from that experience? And that's kind of, yeah, thank you, Kate. That's kind of the question that we want to ask you guys. So I put you guys in breakout rooms and we're gonna be in there for like 10 minutes, and then I'll bring everyone back. But just discuss that question, and after you guys are done, feel free to check in. But yeah, we wanna kind of leave it a little vague for your own interpretation. Just to give you guys like some guidelines, this time you're not allowed to repeat the same thing that you hear in your group. So if someone says one of yours, you have to come up with a new way that you would like to grow from the project. So no repeats. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna send you guys into breakout rooms. Do you guys have any questions?
Is everybody clear on the outcomes?
Okay, so we'll see you guys soon.
Adam, I have a question for you in a sec. Hi.
Hello.
You ready? Okay. So I'm thinking about what they could do from here. After we discuss after we discuss consensus stuff, if it leads to, say, one particular method, so hypothetically it leads to wire cutter approach as like, okay, we think we have some consensus around this potential method. What I was thinking about, maybe instead of like going into groups, like avoiding like, okay, now you're in partnerships, now you're in branding. What if either within the same groups they've been in or mix it up, what if we then have them do business model canvas?
So my mind went somewhere after when you were saying instead of putting them into the group. So they're going to do business model canvas in their current groups?
Yeah, like instead of going from, okay, now we have a method, so this is the partnerships committee, this is the whatever, maybe we just spend a week, I mean, truly like 1 week of like, okay, now you actually have a method, you've got your purpose, you've got your outcomes, now within your groups, you're ready to do this business model canvas or something similar, but I'm just thinking like, because then that will inform all the committees, from then you can say like, okay, key partners, well, obviously going to fall within the partnerships committee or key, and then even Kate and Rhea could synthesize what, if there's 4 groups that do a business model canvas, maybe Kate and Rhea synthesize one complete one for our project.
Okay.
I'm just
I like it. Well, what I like is it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say how I got there was I thought, okay, well, now they've identified what ideas are feasible. Now they have to start talking about how those ideas will work, building some kind of prototype. And then I'm like, well, we're not actually building a tangible product. So maybe this method of this business model canvas technique will help them to build their prototype, if you will.
I think it's great. I would like to assign you a task, a very important task. I would like for you, along the way, you've done several things that make them be more tangible with their projects. Mm-hmm. And if you could try to recall what those things are, the sequence of them, because they've all been really good. They've all been about your mind. Your mind is great for this. Your mind is constantly, how can we go from abstract to concrete? Right? It's very good. It's very good. I mean, it may seem easy.
When it's the time to do that, it's useful.
Well, yeah. Well, this is a great time to do, and you do it so often at the right time. So yeah, I love it. And a couple reasons. One is it captures the synergies that these groups are already developing. I mean, clearly they're doing these fun activities and brainstorming these goofy questions, and then so why break that up? And then also, I feel that now that I can step back and look at it, that we put people in committees too soon, and committees really need to be in peak performance. So maybe there's a better way to create committees.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think because what seems to have happened is we put them in committees, partially because they're eager for it. They're like, I'm ready to be in branding. But they have incomplete information to thrive there. They just end up floundering, and we end up breaking the committees up and restructuring, which, that's probably just part of the life cycle too. But
you know what we should do? Before somebody joins a committee should have a stated purpose, a stated focus, and a stated set of outcomes. And maybe what we do is we break people into committees to just form the purpose and outcomes of the committees. And then once all of them are fleshed out, we'll have 4 committees fleshed out. Here's the focus, here's the outcomes. Now somebody can say, I want to be on that committee or that committee or that committee. It's almost like the sorting hat for, we can call it the sorting hat, because that'll make them feel all like Harry Potterish. Right?
Okay, let me ask you this. I don't want to put too much on Rhea and Kate, but what if it was like this week, we have 4 groups completing a business model canvas. And then from that, we have Rhea and Kate take that information and they, I don't know, maybe this is too much for them.
They
take the information, and in Miro, they just create something that's like, okay, here are these 4 committees. Here's the purpose statement for those committees.
Yeah. No, I think
maybe they kind of lay out the
help them with it. If they want help, it wouldn't be too much. And what that would be is that would harness power of the draft. They could just say, here, based on what you told us, here's what we propose as a committee structure. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
I think it's a really nice democratic process. It's one that allows for feedback coming in, and then someone to synthesize it and then chart a draft without it being a mandate.
Right.
Yes. And I just feel like that's a very cooperative approach where it is shared leadership,
mm-hmm.
And it's just the role of the facilitator isn't to be the authority. It's to make easy. It's to advance the groups and should go to trusted members of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think we're really onto something here. Let's see what Rhea, and I love it. Like Rhea's sitting there just guiding the group along, like little signposts here and there. It's just wonderful. And even her asking these questions, like, I don't know, what was the one she asked before that she debriefed that activity? She was like, what was the experience like? You know, what was the experience like? What a great question. And what like an open question, that an evocative question too.
Yeah.
I'm super blown away. I'm just blown away.
I'm really proud of them.
I know.
Good. Okay. So since I know you have to go soon, would you do something for me in these interim minutes? So I think if that sounds good, I'm going to try to help lead them toward this assignment to do a business model canvas thing.
Beautiful.
And maybe we say like that's for the next call, so they have 2 weeks as a group.
Well, maybe on Sunday, on Sunday we could do a little presentation of it.
That's okay, because that's what I was going to ask is like, is there a video that you like or a tool that you like when you present this to help explain it? But maybe that's what we do on Sunday.
Yeah, and then let's video me doing it and see if it's any good. Then we'll put that in our warehouse because yeah.
Okay, let me write.
Right. Okay. In fact, let's start thinking that way. Let's start thinking like this is our studio. Oh, speaking of studio. Hello, Ella. You're not supposed to be in there, I bet.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Did you sneak in? Are you?
Oh, cool. She's showing her grandma's here hanging out, and the twins are sleeping. So.
All right. Nice.
Okay.
Have fun with grandma.
No.
Delightful. You've done well. You've done well.
I love that my kids like know your name. Like when Cece, I know yesterday I was doing a bit of the thing where it's like people that like show you photos of your kids and you're like, that's great. She kept going, hi Adam, Mr. Adam, Mr. Adam, like she was trying to say Mr. Adam. It was just making my heart happy.
Yeah, it was great.
So,
yeah. Compare that. There's these girls in the neighborhood across the street, and they see me, and there's like 3 of them. And they're like 6 or 7 years old, and they chase me and they scream and they're like, "Unicycle man!" And I don't even know what they want. I'm afraid to even let them catch me, And it's the funniest thing. I don't know what it is.
It's probably just a hyper little girl thing. You probably look like a superhero.
And the dad's always there. He's just like, I don't even know what to do. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Then what? I'm out of here, man. So I don't know. It cracks me up though. It's the funniest thing. All right. So yeah, no, this is great. I think I don't know. Couldn't be happier. I couldn't be having a better day. Just all of these things are happening.
Oh yeah. Okay, they're coming back right now, but I want to type in the. Well, I'm just going to ask you in our chat.
We'll
hospital
do
contract.
Yeah. And then, what I'm going to do next is I'm actually speaking to a group of faculty at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, about my book. So one of the things, I don't know, like, if the students are interested at all, but like that material is all for them. And I have the new chapters done and I have the audio done too. Like there's a voice actor who, she did a really quality job. Like she's really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
But do you have it? I wonder, is it self-published?
Yeah.
Like, would it be?
It hasn't even really been edited yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's it's been written and rewritten so many times.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm gonna turn my camera off for a couple minutes because I'm eating because I haven't.
Right on. Understood. Good etiquette. I get it. What do you guys think of the meeting so far? Is it going all right?
For me, it's felt like the right balance of like productive and like fun and silly and lighthearted.
All right, nice.
Yeah, the last one that was like 1 to 4, whatever time it was, felt really long. But this one's fine. It doesn't feel like super long.
Right on.
I don't really know what the difference was, but.
We'll be thinking about it because when we debrief, you can do your pluses and deltas on exactly that. I was priming the pump right there, and I was vamping the crowd, I'm working the crowd. That's kind of one of my magical skills. Not really, but I can fill any amount of time with words, and that is a superpower.
It is. think we're bringing everyone back. So what you guys think? Any thoughts, comments? How'd you feel about that discussion? What were some things that you heard?
It was, I know we weren't supposed to like repeat. We didn't repeat in our group, but we kind of built off of each other. Like, and it was actually kind of comforting that, I mean, like, that we had similar ideas of how we wanted to grow, but we didn't repeat. They were built off of each other.
Anyone else?
In our group, I thought it was cool how like people were talking about how they would want to learn so they could help others. Not like that's what you have to want to grow with, but like I thought that was so
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, our group was pretty similar because we all just kind of agreed that we want to be able to take away as much from the project as possible while also like helping anyone who's participating in the project as much as possible. So at least personally, one of my goals by participating in this is to learn as much about mental health as possible, just because I think our project, you know, it's trying to help people who need help with their mental health. And so I think it's really important that I broaden my scope on mental health as a whole, just throughout the project as well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Anyone else? And I know the discussion groups have been kind of popular, so I like the last few meetings, so I didn't want to take that out of the agenda. So we made sure to incorporate some sort of discussion group into our meeting. But yeah, I'm glad. Oh yeah, go ahead.
We also, no one from my group sharing, but we also talked about like working together. Like when we work at school, we're working with like 3 or 4 people, but now we have like 25 people and a lot of like other ideas like conflicting, and it's nice to like work together, and we've like grown. So we hope to grow with that too. Sorry, that's my dog.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a school project where you work with 3 or 4 people and then you're done after a week. We're kind of stuck with each other for 3 years, all 25 of us. So, but I'm glad it's the 25 that we have because I love you guys. But anybody else? In that case, we can take another quick break, 5 minutes, and then we'll jump right back into that discussion that we were having earlier about our purpose statement and methods. So we'll see you guys in 5.
See you guys in 5 minutes. Thank you for sharing. I love that discussion. Hey guys, we can start heading back. I'm jealous, Rhea. You have Sour Patch Kids, the green ones too.
Yep, I got hungry, so I like ran downstairs and I saw the bag of Sour Patch Kids and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we had these. So I grabbed them. I'm happy now. I love them.
Also, your wholesome note right before we left to take a break. That was so sweet. I love our team
Aw.
too.
Hey. So the form that Emily just sent on the chat is the committee evaluation form. So after the meeting, if you guys can fill out that form for your current committees for this past round, which I mean, I guess technically you were in the committee for 2 monthly meetings, but if you could fill out that eval form after the meeting, that'd be great. And I will be posting it later on Basecamp too for further reference. And it will be in the resources folder that we have now in our docs and files section. But yeah, go ahead, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, what is the purpose of that form? Of the committee evaluation form? What is the purpose? Is it a nefarious purpose or a wonderful purpose, or I don't know. What do you think the purpose is?
I would say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. The purpose is like accountability and like also seeing what's working and what's not working. So maybe it's the group dynamic, or maybe it's the people in the group, or maybe it was like how the group went about it. But that way you can like see like if we had our fans on 3 and like how our engagement was. And also it like keeps people accountable because they're like, oh, my group is gonna say that I didn't do what I'm supposed to do when because they didn't do what they were supposed to do or whatever. So
Okay. And then who else was going to speak?
I was just going to add on, I mean, pretty much Ashlyn summed it up, but I was just going to say, like, it's a beneficial purpose just to gain, like you said, what worked for the committee, what didn't, kind of accountability measure as well.
Good. Yeah, there's behaviors. It's just very simple. It's so basic. It's the contributions of the people are what make for productive use of time and positive outcomes, progress, in short, progress. And so, yes, it's to evaluate what are the behaviors you see in others that help advance progress, and then to reflect for yourself, all right, how could I emulate that? Not maybe imitate. I don't want anyone to imitate, but how could you emulate? That person contributes. How can I contribute? And then the other thing is to see what detracts from group behavior that others do, and also to reflect on yourself to say, how do I detract from the group's progress? So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that to light more because it's, I think it's the kind of thing where it's like it may not feel good, or you may not want to do it, or you may not engage it very much and just want to go through the motions. But I really think it's an important way for groups to just get better at being teams. And if there's one thing we need in this world, it's people who know how to work better in teams. More, right? All right. Thank you. Mic drop. Yep.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you, Adam. So we can get into the discussion about our methods and our next steps.
Yeah, Emily, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, I would love to. Okay, so before, like, as we're starting that, I just want to say that you guys have, like, killed it today. Like, this has been, like, and you did an outstanding job while Lynn and Alana were here and you all were discussing. I love, I hope that you felt really good about it. I mean, like, even just the simple things that I love. You guys had great visuals. There were, like, we had a lot of voices. Like, there were several of you, like, from each committee, like 2 people sharing. And like the handoff was really seamless too. It'd be like, hey, Veranda, you take it from here. I got it from here. Like, it was just really smooth. So really feel like you guys are getting the hang of the virtual bit, but also it was just the content was great. So just good discussion and thought, and it already feels like we've made meaningful progress. Or at least I feel that way. Would you guys agree? Okay, so let's keep moving further down the funnel. I want to ask again, let's circle back to what we were talking about when we were talking about consensus, and just maybe recap again for the group as we start this discussion. What things did you all hear that there is consensus around? And we'll just leave it at that. You can type or unmute yourself in chat.
And while you're pondering, I will be departing. I am giving a guest lecture. People, I don't know. You're off the hook. I think you guys probably hired somebody to get me to go do this so that you could get rid of me. And I would say, job well done. Do it again. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. I echo everything Emily said. This is a team effort. This is leadership coming from individuals collectively. It's a really great thing to see. I will talk with you guys soon. Keep it up.
Bye, Adam. Good luck.
Okay, so just to pick up where we left off, what things did you hear consensus around?
We need to reevaluate our purpose statement, or at least look over it again and kind of nitpick through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes, okay, yeah, definitely. If you'd agree, like, nod your head or do like the thumbs up, for sure. I heard that a lot. So let's make sure we capture that, Rhea or Kate. Just reevaluating, rewriting our purpose statement. What else?
We kind of all, or a lot of us, gravitated towards the wire cutter idea, so we kind of like eliminated the other 2 methods.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? What's the reaction to that statement?
I heard that too. I think gravitating towards Wirecutter, I was picking that up through the meeting. And a lot through the meeting, I heard like a lot of overlapping themes for the different possible methods. Like people said like I think it was Chris said that Wirecutter would be within a website, and like information from a possible mental health fair could possibly also be in a website, and some of the things that we would put in there could be evaluated on the Wirecutter. I don't know if anybody else heard that, but I picked up on that.
Yeah, I heard, again, like, I didn't want to make any assumptions, but I felt like the cohort was gravitating towards the Wirecutter idea, so correct me if I'm wrong. And what Krish did mention earlier, Wirecutter would essentially be a website in a way, or an app. It's just talking about the function of the website or an app would be the Wirecutter, if that makes sense. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, anyone else? What else have you guys been hearing?
I totally agree that I think everyone kind of throughout the meeting has been kind of gravitating towards the idea of having a Wirecutter website. But I also think, so like right before Lynn and Elena left, Elena was kind of talking about how we shouldn't necessarily like immediately get rid of the health fair idea, because she said how they've been able to still kind of through COVID do a lot of big group like events that are on an online platform. And the way that she was explaining that, it actually gave me kind of like, it just made me more hopeful for that project idea. And so I think before we get rid of that idea completely, we maybe should think about it a little bit, think about the online idea a little bit, or consider it just a little bit, just because she approached us with a lot of like good points about that specific idea. But I also am a big fan of the wire cutter idea, so I think both are good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Whenever she was talking about that, like it kind of energized me towards that idea, and I was kind of like, "Oh, that's a good point." And I kind of felt bad for like discarding it so fast. So, I think like we can eliminate, well, no, we can't eliminate one. Never mind. Sorry.
Along with that, I was just gonna say that I think when we were talking about wire cutter, we were saying we want to have our own aspect of it. And I don't think it'd be a bad idea to incorporate something from the mental health fair idea into it. Because either way, the mental health fair itself isn't long term. I mean, unless we like really like work to give it to someone. But like when we're starting up whatever we're doing, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have speakers or like live whatever, just to like, and that would help get word out of it too. So it's not like completely trashing the idea, but it's also incorporating it for while we're here, at least like the next years that we're like running it. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad you brought it up, Leah, because actually when you guys were in a discussion group, we were like Adam and I think Ria were like talking about that. And I love, Katie, your point about perhaps we take that, we don't have to totally eliminate the idea and say it's out, but I also don't want us to lose, I'm trying to think how to say this. I have found historically, and I think Cohort 12 is struggling with this right now, that it's hard. We spend so much time ideating and analyzing potential methods that it almost becomes hard to say, like, we're not doing that one. Like, to actually take one off the table, it's like, it kind of feels like that is like counterintuitive to what we've been doing. But it's also okay. So we need to approach it like we're doing right now, discussing. But I do think it's okay for us to say, that's a great idea, but we think this is a better idea, and we're going to go that route. So don't feel like we have to suddenly say, like, oh, it's a good idea, so we can't scrap it. But maybe to Katie's point, there's a way to incorporate elements of that, what we like about that, into the other. So Veranda, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so I wanted to say that I also heard a lot of people veering more towards like wire cutter, but there were some people that were vocalizing concerns of like just like a missing element to it that doesn't have them 100% on board. And I think those elements are more geared towards like those outcomes that we had, where it was like addressing how to see warning signs, or how to sort of like know how to interact with others. So I think that it is missing a very interactive aspect, which that could also come into play with what Katie said, like implementing or incorporating an aspect of what we had for the mental health fair. I kind of had an idea of what it was, but I don't know about it because I didn't really think too hard about it. It just came up as you were talking about it. If we make the wire cutter resource first, and then we base a mental health fair more around exploring each of like what it's like some of our top 5 favorites on like resources on that wire cutter, and then having speakers kind of discuss how applicable these resources are. So it's not just us that are like evaluating them, but it's also actual professionals that have dealt with these kind of things, and it can be like a kind of like an intro. So whoever participates gets an introduction to what our top favorite resources are like, and then that might encourage them more to use our wire cutter project.
Yeah, I love that.
I really like that idea. So actually I want to say May or June, so well into COVID times, I participated on a webinar of like a panel of students talking about their experience of schooling during COVID times, and we were basically talking to teachers about what they can do to improve distance learning and stuff like that. So if we were to do something kind of like a webinar, it's definitely like doable. Like I have experience, like I've seen it happen. So I like the idea of like exploring certain resources from our wire cutter, like starting with that and then basing it off of that. So anyone else?
Well,
Just to, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Just to like, not trying to like criticize your idea, Miranda, but I feel like we should still like, I think this was kind of implied, but like still make sure that we put out all of the resources for everybody to look at, just in case they have a different favorite resource or they need a resource for something that we didn't put in our top 5. So yeah, that's just.
And all I was really just going to say is kind of going back to what like Emily was talking about earlier. I do think collectively we've all kind of like steered away from the app idea. So I think maybe we could go ahead and just get rid of the app idea. And if anyone is still interested in that, that's fine. I just felt like kind of throughout this meeting, we all kind of shifted away from that. But it's, however, like if anyone is opposed to getting rid of the app idea, please say so.
Yeah, that's good. Leah, that was beautiful leadership, right? You just like stepped up and like, I think we've reached consensus on that. Sounds like apps off the table. We can circle back to it if we need to, but it seems like the group's there. Would you guys do like a head nod or a thumbs up if you agree? Yeah, cool. Okay. Hey, that's great. So I've got some notes over here that I've been taking. I love where you're going with this. So what the next thing I want to ask you is, sorry, reading my notes. Okay, we've got consensus on that we need to rewrite the purpose statement. Sounds like we're consensus that we're not doing an app. Consensus that we need to maybe reevaluate our outcomes in light of our new purpose statement, right? I heard that. I also heard consensus, this is a really basic one, but it's still worth noting, is that there was consensus around what we're doing is basically not going to have an in-person feature in light of COVID-19, right? Would you agree? There's at least consensus in the short term for that. So I mentioned that just because that's like 4 or 5 things that you guys have made, like said, okay, here we're in agreement on all of these things. That's huge progress, even if we just ended there. So what I want to propose to you all is that we move forward. That doesn't mean that we have said no to everything else, but propose that we move forward with this wire cutter approach idea as our potential method. So if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the difference between a proof of concept, a prototype, and an MVP, right? So, and you guys used those differences to evaluate these potential methods. So if you remember, what's the question that you answer with a proof of concept?
Like, will this idea even work?
Yeah, will it even work? I think that how do you guys feel about, do you feel like we've answered that question for this wire cutter idea? Right? In general, like, yeah, okay. So if we're moving to the next phase is building a prototype, right? So if I were gonna design, if my idea was strawless cups at Starbucks, then my next, I've vetted like, okay, is the idea feasible? Now I'm gonna actually make the prototype. I'm actually gonna build something and say like, this is actually how the strawless cup will work. This isn't even the strawless cup, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna actually like write out how I think it will work. Then I'm gonna go and hire somebody to help me make the cheapest possible version. And the cheapest possible version is the MVP, right? So what I think our next step is to start talking about the prototype of our wire cutter approach. And the way I want to propose that we do that is to look back at an old tool that I think we've introduced to you guys, but maybe we haven't. And that is something called the business model canvas. Have we talked about that before? No, we haven't? Oh, good. Okay, so business model canvas is a tool. This is just like Adam is like an expert in it, but it is a really basic, like one-page tool that businesses will use to sort of capture their whole plan, their whole, like, this is how we do it. Like, you could Google business model canvas Walmart, and you'll find like a one-pager that explains like all about how Walmart functions. In fact, I'm gonna screen share with you guys real quick what they look like. There's actually like a really basic template for them. So let me do that real quick. Okay. Okay, can you see this? So some of these terms are gonna feel weird. They're gonna feel a little bit unclear. But you'll see here that it's got a section on the page for key partners. What are the key activities that we do? What value are we bringing? That's your value proposition. Here's who we're serving. So it's all on just a one-page little document like that. Okay. Anybody seen this before, now that I've shown it to you? No? Okay. Good. I'm so glad. Okay. So what I'm going to propose that we do is this is basically like your prototype, but in writing, because to I think Krish's point, we're not making something that's tangible, right? We're building something that's going to be a resource, and so our prototype is going to be in writing and just explaining what that resource is. And this is a great, simple way to do it. It's also an incredible thing for you guys to know at your age. So yeah. Oh, cool. Krish is posting some stuff about like, oh, a customizable one. Okay, cool. Let's save that link, because what I think we're gonna do is on Sunday, Adam's gonna give a little like overview of what is the business model canvas and how does it work, with the idea that within your 4 groups, we'll spend the next couple of weeks completing these business model canvases. Like, so in essence, each group would have one. And then we'll come back together and we can consolidate into one. And what that is basically means that if we did this in a couple of weeks, we could have like sort of a prototype written out. I mean, it would be a draft, right? It'd just be a first go at like what our method would look like. And let me ask this question. How do you think that would help us get to the next phase of our project? How do you think that would help our group move into the next phase of our project? There's no wrong answer.
I think if we see what's consistent or like reoccurring patterns amongst other people's like idea of this prototype, then we can kind of see what we as a group sort of agree with and what we want to include.
Yeah, I love that point. Yeah, it'll again sort of help us to find some consensus around what value we're bringing, who our customers are, what all the things that are in it. Yeah, great point. What else? How will building this sort of prototype inform what we do next as a group?
I think to add on to what Miranda said, it would also like show that certain people like certain aspects of the prototype, and then they can explain their reasoning behind why they want that aspect in our project, or certain people can say why they don't want that aspect, and they can like mesh it out, vote, or whatever, and explain the reasoning behind what they want in the project, which will outline like which features we want of the project, like she said.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, for people to be thinking as you're doing it, ooh, I really like this aspect. Great point.
I mean, this isn't completely related, but like part of it is like if we do it within like different committees and each committee comes up with a different thing, then we'll have like a big array of ideas, and then from there, like there might be something that you would have never thought of on there, and then that's something that the cohort really likes, and it's like helpful to do it in groups because then there's more ideas for us to choose from that will be like energizing and like good.
Yeah, I love it. What about in terms of your committees? Like when we kind of jumped into committees, and then as we sort of circled back, we realized, okay, I think we jumped into those maybe too fast. So how do you think this will help us as we get into committees and start doing tasks?
I think in a way it will help guide the committees into like exactly what are they looking for. That way we have a better idea of what our project is. So when they're performing their function, they have more direction with it.
Yes, I really think that that's key. Because how many of you all, when you first jump into your committees, like partnerships, branding, were like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So I think if we've backed up, we've clarified our purpose, we're going to clarify our outcomes, we've articulated our method, our potential method, and then if we can get alignment on, as a cohort, on this aspect, on our prototype, what are we actually doing? Then as you get into committees, you'll be able to say, okay, like the cohort has basically told our committee what we're supposed to be doing, right? And wouldn't that feel really nice? I think so. So this is my pitch to you all. So as Adam would say, you can reject, adapt, or accept my suggestion. But what I think we should do, my proposal is that we should, next Sunday, Adam will kick off with explaining business model canvas, giving us like a good thorough overview. And then we spend the next 2 weeks completing it within our groups so that when we get back on our next all cohort call, we can consolidate and help allow that to inform what the next committees will be, so that maybe we can start really working on building out our MVP. So, okay, I talked a lot. So thoughts, reactions, how does that feel? What's not clear, etc. Krish, I see your questions.
Yeah. To answer Krish's question, what do you guys think? Do you want to stay in your existing committees or shuffle around, since we've been in a while? So to vote, to like make it a little bit easier, use the raise your hand. See, now I know. Raise your hand feature if you want to stay in your current committee. This is a democracy. Okay, so I think a majority of the people want to shuffle around. So what we'll do is, oh, okay. So basically this, okay, I'm the one who's teaching it now. This is great. So next to, oh shoot, see, I don't even know where it is. Okay, let's see.
It's in participants. You'll go to participants and there'll be a little like bar on the bottom. You can put a thumbs up, thumbs down. Like there's a lot of different things in there.
That's
I think
sad.
this one
I
is
don't
like
have
raise.
an option.
Oh, is it just thumbs up? Oh, this one's just a raise your hand. Yeah, so raise your hand. I think the question was raise your hand if you want to switch up the groups.
Wait, raise your hand if you want to switch up.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to stay in the same committee that you're in right now.
We'll go with that one.
Yeah.
I bet I'm focused on the note.
Oh yeah, no, it's completely fine. Okay. So we still have I'm gonna wait until, okay. Going once, going twice. Okay, so are we split down the middle? Wait a minute. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Is it exactly split down the middle?
6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, we're split down the middle. This is great.
God. Why don't we shuffle it up? Because it's just for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And just view it as a chance to like get to know some other people in the cohort a little bit more that maybe you haven't worked with yet.
So how about you guys, after the meeting, fill out the committee eval forms, and then this time me and Kate will shuffle around the like the committees. because like the last few times you guys got to choose, and we want to have a little bit fun with it too. So fill out the committee eval forms for your current group, and we will try to have new committees for Sunday, if that works for everyone. But wow, you guys are split down the middle. that was not okay. Yeah. So Emily, if you want to continue, or
Yeah, I think the only thing for me that is that feels a little unfinished is this kind of reevaluating our outcomes. And so we can do that. However, I agree with, I think, the group that we need to kind of spruce them up a bit, but we can save that for, we can do, the first half of SPS where you guys do that together as a group, and then we learn about business model canvas and go on, or we can talk about some other ways to do that. I don't know that we need to do it right in this moment, but let us not forget is what I'm saying. So I think are there any other thoughts, reactions to our plan? Okay, cool. Then I vote we just move on to plus delta.
Yeah,
That's
or
my
before
vote.
plus delta, if you guys want to play a little guess who.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
We have it a little, yeah. So I love this game. So let me pull up the doc, but I'm using the like stuff. Oh yeah, go ahead, Kate.
This is like the first time we're ahead of schedule. It's really exciting.
Yes, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, just a little comment. The meeting has been really energizing, engaging, and aligning. I mean, it's exciting to see that. I really like this meeting. It's also very fun today.
Okay, Katie, we'll see you soon. Thank you for participating. Bye. Dione, are you aware that your hand is still up? Okay, that's great. Just making sure. Okay, so these are the stuff, and again, like we can continue to play this game as long as I have like facts. So if we want to like keep playing this game again and again, keep sending me facts and I'll add it onto my little sheet. But here's the first one. This one kind of makes me sad, but I hate cake, cookies, and brownies. I love desserts, so it's definitely not me. I'll tell you guys that. So
some odd reason, I think it's Caleb.
I'm like trying to think of who didn't eat all of the cookies during our monthly meetings that we had.
I think if anyone knows, like I definitely ate a good portion of the cookies, so I think we can rule out me. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Caleb, Krish, Ria, Arjun. I don't know about that one. Okay, so it's actually Meghana. I don't understand. I really don't. I love all of those things. Let's see.
I think I do remember her. Like, I think I remember offering her a cookie and she was like, no thanks.
I like never ate cookies at the monthly meetings. And I'm allergic to chocolate, and I've just never liked brownies. And I used to hate ice cream, but now I'm kind of obsessed with ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Okay, this one was really, really interesting. I really love this one. I've played piano at Carnegie Hall. So it's unanimous. It is Kayla. I just want to say we're so proud of you. That's great. Yeah, but that's amazing. Kayla's a little celebrity. We know a celebrity, guys. This one's also pretty interesting. I used to curl on a Tulsa Curling Club League.
Like the game with the like and the brooms, or like curl weights.
I think like the broom game. Yeah. So it is used to curl on a Tulsa Curling Club League. I like how everyone's kind of doubting themselves. Like they say someone and then they're like, wait a minute.
Wait, curling's like the sport, right?
Yeah, it's a sport.
Not like bicep curls, right?
No.
No, it's on ice. You like throw,
Yeah.
like you slide a weight and you kind of brush the ice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
That's
no.
funny. I think it's funny how everybody keeps throwing out Krish's name.
So we
and
have
Caleb.
and Arjun.
Just the guys.
Let's see. Okay, so it is not either of them. It's actually Haley.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing. Like I didn't know there was a league for that in Tulsa.
That is so
Hey,
cool,
look,
Haley.
yeah, really? I'm gonna scroll up to verify.
And let's do one last one.
Haley keeps
So
amazing
what
me.
kind of curling? Was it the curling sport? How do you do it? What is curling?
It's like you start on, it's kind of like, on a track where you're like running and then there's like a little things you put your feet in. You start in that and then you're holding like the stone and then you have to like launch and then slide and then you let go of the stone. And then you're trying to get it to land in this target on the ice. And then the people sweeping are like affecting the friction on the ice to like try to get it to land better than where the person threw it.
Were you good?
I was okay.
That sounds so complicated. Wow.
You always amaze me, Haley. Bowling,
Yeah, I know.
golfing, curling.
When she like sent that, I was like, I didn't know that there was a curling league in Tulsa. That's amazing. But that's really interesting.
These are all really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so the last
Carnegie
one for
Hall
today is I have broken my right foot 3 times. Seeing a variety. I like how you guys are like validating each other. So no, actually, it's Arjun.
Time we don't guess it.
We got you guys.
The one time we don't guess Arjun.
Yeah, Arjun, please explain.
When I was younger, I was like in 2nd grade. I remember it was like on my birthday, so it was kind of bad. I did it once last year actually, and then I did it once like 3 years ago.
Well, what did you do?
What happened? Yeah, what did you do to break it?
The first time I have no idea what happened. It just broke. So I just like randomly fell, and then it was happened to be broken. And then the last 2 times it happened because I have an extra bone in my foot, so it happened because of that. So yeah.
Interesting.
We keep learning amazing things about everybody.
I know. I love this game. So guys, if you guys want to still play, I still have some people left on my list, but like keep providing me with facts so I can continue this game. So yeah. How about we do the plus delta and then we come back to this if I still have time. Okay.
Sounds good. So feel free also to add plus deltas as we're talking about them on Miro. Those post-it notes are always up there. But if anybody would like to just unmute yourself or type in the chat, feel free to go with a plus. We're going to start on pluses, but also you can add deltas.
Yep. So any
Remember what they mean.
Oh, yes. A plus is anything that contributes to progress, and a delta is anything that hinders progress. So keep that in mind as you share.
Yes, definitely.
I think a plus is that this is like one of the most engaging monthly meetings I think we've had online, in my opinion at least, because I just feel like we never really had like a pause. Like we all just kept going and building off of each other. And there wasn't really any like awkward silences where no one wanted to talk. I feel like we all just kind of kept going and kept building off each other.
Yeah, these are great ones. We're trying to like add them on there. Any other pluses before we move on to like deltas? Yeah, definitely. It was strategically placed in there, Haley. There was a point to the question.
It was the right balance of productive and like fun and silly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. We're trying to find like a way to make sure that we still got what we needed to get done, but at the same time have enough time for that team building activity for a discussion, because we know how important that is. So I'm glad we got to do that this time.
Yeah, I really felt a sense of community today. Everybody was speaking up. It was nice.
Okay, any deltas?
Feel free to go with the deltas. They help a lot.
Yeah, they definitely do.
I think our committee was a little confused on what to do. We didn't get time to meet up, and it wasn't as engaging as like it could have been. Was the thing. I think we need to remember to like try to be engaged as much as we can and still be like thoughtful and nice, and just like be open to all ideas. I think that's still important to remember.
Any other deltas?
This could have just been like my group, and I don't know if we just didn't have like a long enough discussion, but we kind of all answered the question and then like we had extra time and we didn't really know what to do with it. So that part kind of felt disengaging, but that was like the only major like part that was disengaging.
Haley, I like the delta in the chat to stop and read the chat once in a while, because I did too. I also got lost trying to keep up with it. But yes, that's a good one.
We'll definitely keep that in consideration the next time. Yeah, I was like mid-sentence and I'll be like, ooh, that looks interesting. Yeah. These are great, guys. Well, since we have like some extra time, I don't see why we can't do one more Guess Who. So let's see. I've technically had a nose job. This was very interesting. Caleb. So it is actually Michelle. I feel like there's a story behind it. But yes, it is.
Please
Michelle.
share if you would like to.
Yes.
So I had a problem with having like a bunch of sinus infections back in the day. So yeah, I did have a deviated septum. So they like went in and fixed it and it like changed the shape of my nose. So it's technically a nose job.
I think it's funny.
Charlie D'Amelio had?
I think so.
Probably.
Okay,
I think
this
it's
is
funny how the Booker
this is a
T
weird
people went in and called you out.
Yeah.
Good question, Michelle. But do you like your nose better now?
I mean, yeah, I can breathe now.
Like, did you like the shape before, so you were sad that like it changed?
Like it's less swollen now because back before it was like my nose bridge was like wider, but now it's like narrowed.
We like the functionality. That's where we are.
Yes. That is the
But that
most
was funny.
important part of your nose. Yes.
I knew who it was and I didn't want to put it, but then everybody from Booker T was like, Michelle. It's Michelle.
I think we should, yeah, bye, Kate. But
Bye, Kate.
we will wrap this up. So this was a great meeting, guys. So we'll see you on Yes, breathing is very important. We'll see you guys on Sunday at 3:00. And we'll have your new committees by then. And
Bye,
make sure
guys.
to the committee eval form that I posted on Basecamp.
Yeah, great job today. You guys did awesome. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Stay. Hey, you guys, how do you feel?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really good meeting.
Really, really great job. I don't know if you pre-planned this, and even if you did, that's great work, but you all, like the two of you had great handoff, and Kate, I thought you were more confident and more you did a really great job. So I hope you feel really proud of yourselves. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was noticeable, but I did have, I guess I did have more confidence today.
yeah,
I don't know why.
it was in a really good way, not like highlighting that you haven't been before, but just that like I think I could hear you better, and you just, I don't know, it's just, I think more of a sign. I remember when this happened for Grace Lamb, if you know Grace from
yeah,
it's like there was she just did it a few times, and then it was like all of a sudden it was like, whoa, there she is. Like she just kind of like, it was like she developed a muscle for it, and then yeah, and then it was easy. So proud of you both. You both did great. And you worked really well together. So cool. Okay, well, I think we kind of even have Sunday lined out too. So I hope that means you guys can like enjoy your weekend and not even think about anything until 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Emily, thank you so much talking in the last discussion. That was really energizing and aligning for sure.
Good. I hope that it will. I hope that it will prove to be that. I think that it will. So, and I think it'll be channeling Adam's expertise in the right direction of like, he can jump in and kind of give a short lecture on it, and then we can execute it kind of. So cool. Okay. You guys have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.